What up, y'all? This is your boy, Mr. Downtown Ray Melo, and you're listening to the Entertainment Report on iHeartRadio for Thursday, July 16th, 2015, delivering some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo, that's RAYMELO, or on Twitter at The Enter Report. You can listen to the show anytime you want on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com, search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. In her first major TV appearance as a transgender woman since her interview with ABC's Diane Sawyer in April, Caitlyn Jenner accepted the Arthur Ashe Courage Award at the ESPY Awards Wednesday night, saying, "It's not about me, it's all about us accepting one another." Abby Wambach, a member of the World Cup champion U.S. women's soccer team, presented Jenner with the award. The crowd rose to its feet as she took the stage in a flowing white gown. Jenner joked, "I get it. You know, you got to get the shoes, the hair, the makeup, the whole process. It's exhausting. And next, the fashion police. Please be kind on me. I'm new at this." She continued, all across this country right now, all across the world at this very moment, there are young people coming to terms with being transgender. They're learning that they're different, and they're trying to figure out how to handle that, on top of every other problem that a teenager has. The former Olympian then told the story of a transgender teen, Mercedes Williamson, who was found stabbed to death in Mississippi last month. She also spoke of another trans teen named Sam Taub, who took his own life. Jenner said, "Sam's story haunts me in particular because his death came just a few days before ABC aired my interview with Diane Sawyer. Every time something like this happens, people wonder, could it have been different if spotlighting this issue with more attention could have changed the way things happen?" She continued, "I know I'm clear with my responsibility in going forward to tell my story the right way, for me to keep learning, to do whatever I can to reshape the landscape of how trans issues are viewed." Thanking her family for their support, Jenner says, "The biggest fear I've always had in coming out is I never wanted to hurt anyone else, most of all, my family and my kids. I always wanted my children to be so proud of their dad." Jenner concluded by calling for people all over the world to be accepting of those who are different. She said, "We are all different. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. And while it may not be easy to get past the things you always don't understand, I want to prove that it is absolutely possible if we only do it together." She also acknowledged that she is in a more privileged position than many transgender people. She said, "If you want to call me names, make jokes, doubt my intentions, go ahead. The reality is I can take it," she says. "But for the thousands of kids out there coming to terms with being true to who they are, they shouldn't have to take it." The award presented began with clips of Jenner during her Olympic heyday, during which she, then known as Bruce, was one of the most prominent athletes in the world. During the film montage, Jenner said, I came to a revelation that out of all the things I've done in my life, this was my calling. I Am Kat, the docu-series chronicling Jenner's transition and new life as a woman, premieres July 26 on E! Jenner's tearful speech at the ESPY Awards Wednesday night drew some strong praise on social media, with many celebrating her courage and message of acceptance. Stars including Russell Simmons paid tribute to the transgender former Olympian as she accepted the Arthur Ashe Courage Award. Simmons tweeted, "Respect to Caitlyn Jenner, beautiful, moving, and inspiring speech tonight at the ESPYs. We are a better people because of your courage." Many others, like trans actress Laverne Cox and The View's co-host Rosie Perez, also expressed pride and support for Jenner. Cox tweeted, "Just caught at Caitlyn_Jenner's speech at the #ESPYs. So deeply moved. I feel like a historic moment happened for my community tonight. Thanks." Rosie Perez tweeted, "Wow, congratulations at Caitlyn_Jenner. Your best victory yet. Beautifully done. #courage, #acceptance, #love wins, #LGBT, at ESPYs, at ABC Network, at ESPN." Modern Family star Jesse Tyler Ferguson tweeted, reading about at Caitlyn_Jenner's speech from the #ESPY Awards. She is a gift to the LGBTQ community. I want to meet her and give her a huge hug. Orlando Jones tweeted, really lovely speech by at Caitlyn_Jenner at the #ESPYs. Acknowledge trans, WOC, and those who do not have the means or support system she does. Maria Shriver tweeted, #Caitlyn Jenner film. Wow, her speech, even better. Accept all for who they are. #ESPYs. Wade Davis tweeted, thanks at Caitlyn_Jenner for inviting us in. You didn't come out. Our heroes was always there. The world wasn't safe. You're helping change that. Hashtag ESPYs. Ty Beddington tweeted, just blown away by at Caitlyn_Jenner and her powerful speech at the hashtag ESPYs. What a woman. What a hero. Hashtag be the change. And Joan London tweeted, hashtag ESPYs. I don't care what you think of Caitlyn Jenner. You must admit she did a great job tonight on the ESPYs. Donald Trump has surged to the top of many national Republican polls, and he told Sean Hannity he got better things to do than to talk to the Fox News host Wednesday. Trump told Hannity Wednesday, a lot of people think I'm just having a good time. This isn't a good time. I think you're a fantastic guy, Sean, but I don't need to be doing this. This isn't really fun. I'm not having a good time. Hannity seemed to take the jab in stride, laughing it off. Trump went on to say running for president has cost him a lot of money and called Macy's decision to end its business partnership with him a disgrace. He also called NBC and Univision weak for caving to what he deems political correctness in the wake of his stand against illegal immigration, which was particularly strong when he called all undocumented Mexicans rapists. Trump has been a media force for over a month, both appearing on MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News, while being the lead subject of most of those networks' news hours. Morning Jack from the show MSNBC called back from a commercial break to reveal Donald Trump called into the show to propose a challenge to Lawrence O'Donnell. It comes out as he's lying about his apprentice salary. He would give up 1 year's worth of his salary. But if he's proven to be telling the truth, Lawrence O'Donnell has to give up his annual salary. MSNBC did not immediately respond to the Rap's request for comment on whether O'Donnell will take Trump on the bet. MSNBC's Lawrence O'Donnell went off on colleague Joe Scarborough on Morning Joe and Twitter Thursday over what he perceived as Scarborough's buying into Donald Trump's lies. O'Donnell, who hosts The Last Word at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, argued Trump lied Wednesday in his financial disclosures, particularly regarding the amount of money he earned from NBC's The Apprentice over the years. O'Donnell said to Scarborough after the Morning Joe host brought up how much money Trump made from the NBC reality show, "It's a lie, Joe. It's a complete, total lie, Joe." O'Donnell claimed Trump had been one of the lowest paying people to have an hour-long show on television. Scarborough said, mocking O'Donnell, "You are so out of bounds," as the two began to talk over each other. The debate went on from amusing to tense quickly as the two shouted over each other. O'Donnell said, "He is a liar, Joe. He's lying to you, and you're falling for it because you don't understand how much money people make in television," drawing Scarborough to call him condescending. After O'Donnell's segment was over, Scarborough mocked him without him there to respond. This didn't go well with the primetime host who took to Twitter. Lawrence O'Donnell wrote, at AJ the TV file, at Joe NBC, "Joe obviously has no idea what I actually said." He also tweeted, "No one in political talk TV knows anything about paychecks in entertainment TV." He also added, at morning_Joe proved why at real Donald Trump impressed Republican voters. NBC says Trump lied about his NBC and Joe still believes Trump. He also tweeted, note to at morning_Joe, try to reserve all your inaccurate descriptions of what I said to when I'm actually still on your set to correct you. And the last tweet that O'Donnell tweeted, note to at morning_Joe, try to reserve all your inaccurate descriptions of what I said to when I'm actually sit on your set to correct you. Almost 2 months after news broke of Josh Duggar's molestation scandal, TLC has canceled his family reality show, 19 Kids and Counting, the Associated Press reported on Thursday. The network said in an official statement, after thoughtful consideration, TLC and the Duggar family have decided not to move forward with 19 Kids and Counting. The show will no longer appear on the air, adding that the recent attention around the Duggars has sparked a critical and important conversation about child protection. TLC's cancellation puts an end to months of speculation about the fate of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar's famously large broad. The couple and their family first rose to fame back in 2008 and finished their 10th season of 19 Kids this past May. In addition to canceling the show, the network has teamed with 2 child protection organizations to raise awareness about child abuse. They're planning to air an hour-long documentary about the issue next month. Over these past weeks, TLC has consulted regularly with leading victim rights and advocacy organizations in the U.S., including RAIN and Darkness to Light, to discuss how to use this moment to address the issues and make a positive impact, the statement continued. Unfortunately, the child sexual abuse is not an isolated issue. It affects many children and families around the world. To that end, we are partnering with both organizations on a multi-platform campaign to raise awareness and educate parents and families about the issue. In the first phase of this initiative, TLC will work closely with both groups and with the Duggar family on a 1-hour documentary that will include Jill and Jessa and other survivors and families that have been affected by abuse. The statement concluded TLC has been especially concerned for the victims in this situation, including the Duggar family, and it's our hope that this effort will help those in need learn where to turn for information and help. The documentary will be commercial free, and we'll anticipate it will air later this summer. As previously noted, reports surfaced in late May that Josh, now 27, had been accused of inappropriately touching 5 girls, including 4 siblings, when he was a teenager. In June, his sister Jill and Jessa came forward as victims, telling Fox News' Megyn Kelly that they've forgiven their brother for his past. Critics have been calling 19's Kids cancellation for months now, but TLC has held off making a decision despite advertisers pulling their support for the show until now. Another View co-host is heading for the exit. Nicole will depart the daytime talk show as a full-time co-host after 1 season, according to sources. The offer is out for Wallace to return periodically as one of the several rotating co-hosts, but it is unclear if she will do so. News of her departure follows Rosie Perez's recent tearful exit, also after just 1 season. Rosie ODonnell left back in February, citing personal and health reasons. The View's roster has been in flux all season. Comedian Michelle Collins officially joined on Monday, 1 month after the addition of Raven-Symoné. The show is also in talks to bring Good Morning America weekend co-anchor Paula Faris on board. Series vet Whoopi Goldberg, along with Simone and Collins, is expected to return. Wallach was an important voice on the panel, as arguably the sole conservative co-host, a role famously served by longtime co-host Elizabeth Hasselbeck. Before joining The View, Wallace served as a political commentator on MSNBC and Fox News. She also worked as the White House Director of Communications under President George W. Bush and was a senior advisor during the 2008 presidential campaign of Senator John McCain. ABC declined to comment. The View returns for season 19 in September. Cody Walker, brother of the late actor Paul Walker, is following his beloved sibling's footsteps into show business. Cody has been cast in Mero Van Peebles' USS Indianapolis Men of Courage, a history-based drama starring Nicolas Cage. A rep for the actor confirmed to the Wrap. USS Indianapolis will tell the story of the U.S. naval vessel of the same name during World War II. Both crew and captain were stranded in the Philippine seas for 5 days while attempting to deliver parts of the atomic bomb later dropped on Hiroshima. Cody will play one of the brave men who suffered shark attacks and starving on the mission. The film is currently shooting in Alabama. The younger Walker served as his brother's stand-in to help complete scenes on Furious 7 following Paul's tragic 2013 death in an auto crash. Rapper Young Thug, a.k.a. Jeffrey Williams, has been arrested in Sandy Springs, Georgia, as the Atlanta Journal-Constitution reports. He was arrested by U.S. Marshals who were executing an outstanding warrant charging Williams with making terroristic threats. The arrest took place around 6 a.m. Thursday. The incident that led to the charges was not specific. Williams was wanted on an outstanding warrant charging him with terroristic threats stemming from an incident that occurred with the jurisdiction of the Dunwoody Police, a spokesperson for the Marshals said in a press release according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Williams was arrested because he allegedly threatened to kill a mall cop, TMC reported. The incident took place last week at a mall in Georgia, but Williams left before the cops showed up. He is being held at the DeKalb County Jail. 3 armed men in mass forced their way into a Los Angeles home owned by Chris Brown, locked the R&B singer's aunt in a closet, and then ransacked the place for valuables, police said. Brown was not at the home during the robbery around 2 a.m. Wednesday, Officer Liliana Precadio said. The suspects got away with an unknown amount of cash, electronics, and personal items, she said. Brown's aunt was not hurt. Police didn't know how long she was in the closet. Detectives were canvassing the neighborhood around the gated property at the end of the secluded street in the San Fernando Valley and looking for surveillance camera footage. Lieutenant Kirk Kelly told reporters at the scene, "We're trying to see if there's any videos evidence that might have picked up the suspects." Investigators have not released descriptions of the suspects who wore armed handguns and wore bandanas around their face, police said. Brown came to the home several hours later to check on his aunt and then left, Percadio said. A message-seeking comment from Brown's representatives were not immediately returned early Wednesday. Earlier this year, a woman was charged with breaking into another Los Angeles area home owned by Brown. Amiria Qadir Ayeb, 21, pleaded not guilty to felony burglary, stalking, and vandalism. Brown won a Grammy for his 2011 album Fame and is known for hits singles like Run It and Look at Me Now. Musician Nick Cave's 15-year-old son, Arthur, died Tuesday on July 14th after falling off a cliff at Brighton, Sussex, police informed BBC News. Nick and Sue Cave said in a joint statement, "Our son, Arthur, died on Tuesday evening. He was our beautiful, happy, loving boy. We ask that we be given the privacy of our family needs to grieve at this difficult time." According to BBC News, Arthur Cave was found with life-threatening injuries on the underpass of the Ovingdean Gap at 6 p.m. on July 14th. He later died at the Royal Sussex County Hospital in Brighton. Nick and Sue Cave have another 15-year-old son who is Arthur's twin. Cave has two older sons from two previous relationships. In an interview last year with Billboard, Cave described having inappropriate movie nights with his twin boys growing up when they'd watch movies like Scarface when their mother was away. He says, we had a thing, we do that, we'd sit down and watch a film that we shouldn't be watching together. It was a bonding experience. His sons were briefly featured in the partly staged Nick Cave documentary 20,000 Days on Earth, which came out in 2014. Rod Stewart has pretty much done it all. The British rock legend has scored millions of records. He's dated and married some of the world's most beautiful women, and he can still fill arenas around the world. He also came to appear in James Corden's Carpool Karaoke segment, where he filled in the Late Show's host with tales of his wilder early days. When asked about the most rock and roll experience of his life, the 70-year-old's answer was as candid as you could expect. "I don't know, mate. There have been so many. We were outrageous with the faces." "In what way?" Corden asked. He responded, "Drinking and a shagging, and a drinking and a shagging, that's what we did, and smashing up hotel rooms." He recalled how the faces were banned from the Holiday Inn so that they always checked in as Fleetwood Mac. There's a tender moment when Corden runs in his hands through Stewart's hair, and the veteran singer returns the favor by grabbing Corden between the legs. It was an appropriate, excitable moment which rolled into a rendition of "Do You Think I'm Sexy?" The pair also performed The First Cut Is the Deepest, a 1967 song written by Cat Stevens, which Stewart later covered, Maggie May, recorded by Stewart in 1971, and Ooh La La, a Face classic from 1973. Rapper APRocky made a brief appearance to perform Every Day, on which Stewart adds guest vocals. And now here's the top 10 songs on the Billboard Hot 100 singles charts for the week of July 25th. Number 10, David Guetta featuring Nicki Minaj, Bebe Rexha, and Afrojack with Hey Mama. Number 9, Skrillex with Diplo and Justin Bieber with Where Are You Now. Number 8, Rachel Platten with Fight Song. Number 7, Walk the Moon with Shut Up and Dance. Number 6, Fetty Wap with Trap Queen. Number 5, Silento with Watch Me. Number 4, Taylor Swift featuring Kendrick Lamar with Bad Blood. Number 3, The Weeknd with Can't Feel My Face. Number 2, Wiz Khalifa featuring Charlie Puth with See You Again. And for the second week in a row, the number 1 song on the Billboard Hot 100 singles charts is OMI with Cheerleader. And now let's look back at what happened on this day in entertainment history. On this day in 1999, John F. Kennedy Jr., his wife Catherine Bassett Kennedy, and her sister Lauren Bassett were killed when a single-engine plane that Kennedy was piloting crashed into the Atlantic Ocean near Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts. John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr. was born on November 25, 1960, just a few weeks after his father and namesake was elected the 35th President of the United States. On his third birthday, John attended the funeral of his assassinated father and was photographed saluting his father's coffin in a famous and searing image. Along with his sister Carolyn, he was raised in Manhattan by his mother Jacqueline. After graduating from Brown University in a very brief acting stint, he attended New York University Law School. He passed the bar in his third try and worked in New York as an assistant district attorney, winning all 6 of his cases. In 1995, he founded the political magazine George, which grew to have a circulation of more than 400,000 copies. Unlike many others in his famous family, he never sought public office himself. Always in the media spotlight, he was celebrated for the good looks that he inherited from his parents. In 1988, he was named the sexiest man alive by People magazine. He was linked romantically with several celebrities, including the actress Daryl Hannah, whom he dated for 5 years. In September 1996, he married girlfriend Catherine Bissett, a fashion publicist. The two shared an apartment in New York City, where Kennedy was often seen eye-line skating in public. Known for his adventurous nature, he nonetheless took pains to separate himself from the most self-destructive behavior of some of the other men in the Kennedy clan. On July 16, 1999, however, with about 300 hours of flying experience, Kennedy took off from Essex County Airport in New Jersey and flew his single-engine plane into a hazy, moonless night. He had turned down an offer by one of his flight instructors to accompany him, saying he wanted to do it alone. To reach his destination of Martha's Vineyard, he would have to fly 200 miles, the final phase, over a dark, hazy ocean, and inexperienced pilots can lose sight of the horizon under such conditions. Unable to see shoreline lights and other landmarks, Kennedy would have to depend on his instruments, but he was not qualified for a license to fly with instruments only. In addition, he was recovering from a broken ankle, which might have affected his ability to pilot his plane. At Martha's Vineyard, Kennedy was to drop off his sister-in-law, Lauren Bissett, one of his 2 passengers. From there, Kennedy and his wife, Carolyn, would go on to fly to the Kennedy compound on Cape Cod's Hyannisport for the marriage of Rory Kennedy. The Piper Saratoga aircraft never made it to Martha's Vineyard. Radar data examined later showed that the plane plummeted from 2,200 feet to 1,100 feet in a span of 14 seconds, a rate far beyond the aircraft's safe maximum, and then disappeared from the radar screen. Kennedy's plane was reported missing by friends and family members. An intensive rescue operation was launched by the Coastal Guard and the Navy, the Air Force, and civilians. After 2 days of searching, the thousands of people involved gave up their hope of finding survivors and turned their efforts to recovering the wreckage of the aircraft and the bodies. America mourned the loss of the Crown Prince of one of the country's most admired families, a sadness that was especially poignant given the relentless string of tragedies that have haunted the Kennedy family over the years. On July 21st, Navy divers recovered the bodies of JFK Jr., his wife and sister-in-law, from the wreckage of the plane, which was lying under 116 feet of water above 8 miles off the Vineyard's shores. The next day, the cremated remains of the 3 were buried at sea during a ceremony of the U.S. Briscoe, a Navy destroyer. A private mass for JFK Jr. and Carolyn were held on July 23rd at the Church of St. Thomas More in Manhattan, where the late Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis worshipped. President Bill Clinton, his wife Hillary Rodham Clinton, were among the 300 invited guests. The Kennedy's family surviving patriarch, Senator Edward M. Kennedy of Massachusetts, delivered a moving eulogy. He said, "From the first day of his life, John seemed to belong not only to our family, but to the American family. He had a legacy, and he learned to treasure it. He was part of a legend, and he learned to live with it." Investigators studied the wreckage in the Piper Saratoga, found no problems with its mechanical or navigational systems in their final report released in 2000. The National Transportation Safety Board concluded that the crash was caused by an inexperienced pilot who became disoriented in the dark and lost control. And that is your entertainment report for Thursday, July 16, 2015. I'm your host, Mr. Downtown Ray Melo. I'll be back tomorrow to wrap up the entire week, delivering some major stories and trends going on in the world of entertainment and beyond. You can follow the show on Facebook or on Twitter, facebook.com/The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo. That's RAYMELO. Or on Twitter at The Enter Report. You can listen to this episode or any previous episodes of The Entertainment Report with Ray Melo on iHeartRadio. Just go to iHeart.com, search for The Entertainment Report, and it'll take you to the page. Good night, and God bless you all.